There they go into the back. The blue line on. We have a race, and Satnova's beaten Pure Steel out by a length and a half.
Welcome to Talking Trots, hosted by Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
The sensational Sydney sider, Seals to Sam, comes off the back straight. He's a bucket load of alliteration, this fellow.
Scott Bomber Hill will join the boys to look at the Friday night meeting at Gloucester Park.
Here comes Quinny. I'm the mighty Queen is 4 deep and letting go.
Sit back and enjoy Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley.
I'm the mighty Queen is just in front. Dasher VC can do no more. And the West Australian champion has done it again.
Yes, hello and welcome to another big edition of Talking Trots. Lots to talk about tonight. Seems like Radley has pulled up a little bit lame after a big weekend in Brisbane last weekend, but I'm joined by one of the best form analysts in the land in Oli Cownie. Evening, Oli. Welcome to Talking Trots.
Evening, Maud. It's great to be on. I think I pulled up a little bit worse for wear after the Ultimate Drivers' Championship too, but I've bounced back a little bit quicker than Rads, so happy to be here. You've
got youth on your side over Michael, but from all reports it was an absolutely fantastic event.
Oh, fantastic, and it was just brilliant being a part of the first edition. We really were just going there and hoping to enjoy the weekend, and we were over the moon coming away with second. For a lot of it, we were hoping second was probably our best result, and for a little bit there, it looked like we might be settling for fourth or fifth even, and we've kicked late. And Junior he's just an incredible driver. He really lifted when we needed him to and got us into second there. So we're all over the moon, I think.
Good to hear, and we will go into the Drivers' Championship a little bit later in a bit more detail, and just so the listeners can understand that you weren't just there to drink beer and have a good time. You actually played a pivotal role. Of course, Junior did by some great drives, but the role that you played, we'll maybe talk about that a little bit later, because we've got a lot to talk about tonight. And tomorrow night is one of my favourite nights of harness racing. A week and a half ago, we saw the heats of the APG WA Sales Classic, where dreams are made and dreams are shattered, and it's always good to see those. And now to come on a final night, it's always one of the great nights of harness racing.
Oh, it was fantastic. The night of heats, there were some really, really impressive wins and some impressive runners in behind there that didn't win as well. And we could potentially be seeing the making of a few stars here. I think it's especially the 2-year-old boys. I think there's some really smart ones in that bunch, and one you're involved with as well. So I really hope for you he's able to get the job done.
So do I, Ollie. Don't worry, but it certainly is a great some great heats. They're very open, I think. There's no absolute standout in either the boys or the girls. So yeah, it should be great, and just a great night. And of course, we've got the 3-year-old APG WA Sales Classic races as well for the boys and girls. So there's lots happening on Friday night at Gloucester Park, but as always, it was a brilliant night of harness racing last Friday night at Gloucester Park. And in the first one, the leader had an easy trip, but Call Me What You Want came from 3 pegs for Brad and Toby Lynn to score at a nice price.
It was a really good win, and you could just see that top of the straight. He was just really starting to pick up nicely and drove hard and was just able to score to nab Toby Lynn's first Metro win, which was really good to see. It's really good the junior drivers are getting a bit more of an opportunity under the national rating system.
Yeah, no, that's great, and congratulations to Toby Lynn, and of course trained by Brad Lynn. Got up and scored at a nice price. Then Aidan got Magnus Victor away beautifully, which Aidan always does, and then pinched a break down the back and was just too good.
Just too good, yeah. He found the front and he seems to love it out in front, Magnus Victor, or he had a pretty smart horse to beat there in Spyglass, who was really impressive in his previous win and seems to be really hitting his straps in WA. But Magnus Victor got away with a little bit on the front end and was just simply too good for them in the end.
And Galaxy Warrior got a nice trip thanks to Shannon Savelko and was really well driven out, and Shannon had to throw everything out, but got up to score narrowly.
He's definitely a horse that seems to need the right setup, Galaxy Warrior, and he got that there on Friday night with the Montana DJ and the Breeze. He was probably over racing a little bit, and Galaxy Warrior had that really nice sit on his back, and when he's right, he has a really nice turn of foot, Galaxy Warrior. So I think he's been knocking on the door, and he's finally scored a good Metro win there.
And Penny Black got an easy lead and was well driven out by Emily Savelko to score.
It was really good to see Emily get an opportunity on Penny Black while Gary Hall Jr. was at the Ultimate Drivers Series. I think that's something as a driver, to drive horses of her calibre, to be really satisfying. So great to see her get the one drive and the one win on Penny Black, and that there might be more opportunities in the future off the back of that.
Yeah, no, it was a very good effort. And then Steno got it easy in front and they ran home pretty quickly, and Steno was just did enough to hold off a fast finishing Mighty Ronaldo.
It probably wasn't Steno at her absolute best there, but she dug deep and was good enough to beat Mighty Ronaldo, who's a really classy horse, and he's been a really good horse in cups previously. And so for Steno to hold him off, was a really good effort there. And I thought Jaws of Lincoln was a terrific return as well in third. He's going to be a horse that does good things this time in, I think.
Yeah, certainly will. In the next Just Call Me Mickey led all the way to score. First up for Greg and Sky Bond.
Was a good win, wasn't it? Once it found the front, it travelled sweetly throughout, and you never wanted to be on anything else. And I think there were a few punters there that probably got a pretty good result out of that. I think it opened at about $3.60 at one stage, and it was about $1.80 by the time they closed. So really good result. Just Call Me Mickey, and looks another good horse that Bond has been able to find and bring across. That's pretty lightly raced as well.
It's amazing how they do it. They can find them. You look at the previous form of the horse and it didn't look anything flash, but obviously the eye of Greg and Sky Bond, and then come across here and just how they train them, and yeah, went around, beat a couple of nice horses and scored first up. So it was very good. Now in the trot, Patch had a big handicap, but it got away. A few of them didn't, but it was just too good.
I think any time you went off 60 metres, you really have gone terrific. And I thought a few, including myself, just thought the 60 metres might have been a bridge too far. He's been racing really well, so that was certainly no knock, but he got away nicely. And as you mentioned, a few of the fancies didn't get away nicely, so he got a good run into it, and he was just too tough. Whenever he's in that fight at the end, he always seems to prevail, Patch. So and he's been a terrific trotter while he's been in WA, so I think he really did deserve that win again on Friday.
Yeah, very good. And then have you met Ted? Now that got a lovely run in the 1x1 and sprinted very quickly when asked to score the win.
Gee, wasn't it a terrific drive there from the wide gate? Was able to slot in 1-1, and that was the race in the end. If it'd been posted 3 wide the whole way, I think the result would have been different, but was able to secure that really good run and was just too good for them. The runner-up Major Overs was really game and defeat as well, and he has shown this time in that he's starting to sort of show the promise he did early on in his career, so good to see for that team as well.
In the second last, Soho Shakedown began very fast and was never troubled from there on.
Never looked like getting beat, Soho Shakedown. He's got that brilliant gate speed, which will serve him really well, and he just kept the danger locked up the whole way in Belly Up. Belly Up just looked to be bolty on the leader's back, but really good drive. Mitchell Miller, he was just able to keep it locked up.
And in the last, It's Ma Time, driven out really well by Aidan. Got to the front, but really had to shrug off a very determined Delulu late, and they cleared out from the rest of the field. And you thought It's Ma Time was just going to just shrug it off, but it took a while. But in the end, it was just too good, and another great drive by Aidan DeCampo.
I think she's a really smart little horse. It's Ma Time has shown a few times that she can do a little bit wrong, but when she puts it all together, she's really smart. Delulu was great in second, as you mentioned, and she was able to beat Soho Shakedown the previous run. So she's certainly a horse to follow, Delulu, and I think she'll be winning plenty of races in her career.
Certainly will be. Friday night at Gloucester Park, it was a training double for Aidan DeCampo and a driving treble for Aidan DeCampo. Friday night at Albany, it was a driving double for Wesley Andrews. Williams on Sunday was a training double for the very powerful Michael Young stable and a driving treble for Emily Savelko. She is driving in very good form at the moment. And a double to Joseph Savelko. Monday at Pinjarra, a double to Gary Hall Jr. and a double to Abby Vidovich, which was terrific to see. So, like you said, we've got a lot of young talent coming through in the driving ranks.
We certainly do, and they're just, I think we always had a decent bunch of junior drivers, but now they're getting the opportunities, and you don't improve unless you're out there driving. So it's really good to see them getting those opportunities, and they're driving plenty of winners. So they're certainly repaying the faith.
Certainly is, and can't wait until tomorrow night, Ollie. We've got a big card, and we've got a very special guest joining us on the line, and he does have some really good charges going there tomorrow night at Gloucester Park. So let's just go back a week and a half and listen to one of the winners of the 2-year-old APG Sales Classics for the Colts and Geldings. Ideal Beach scored a nice win back there Tuesday a week and a half ago.
All Behaves come from a long way back, is starting to wind up as well, but it's Ideal Beach sweeping up and dashing to the lead now, drawing clear. Better Behaves out wide, still running on. Shoe Betcha tries to go with it, but Ideal Beach raced away. Better Behave is coming down the outside, trying to move to second. Night Sniper is fighting on well, and then Shoe Betcha and late on the scene, Butter Me Up, but Ideal Beach is going to walk in, and Ideal Beach won by 15 metres to Better Behave. A very good run from the back of the field.
Yes, there we go. It was, as you alluded to earlier on, Ollie, it was a very impressive win, and I'm very pleased to announce on the holding on the line we have got the trainer of Ideal Beach, Justin Prentice. Evening, Justin. Thanks for joining us.
Hi guys, not a problem. Thanks for having me.
It was a very impressive winner after a bit of a mishap in the trial where he galloped, but he certainly was on his best behaviour in his heat and come away with a good win.
Yeah, it was good to see him do everything right. Obviously, he did, everything right in his first trial, and then we're still not really too sure what happened in that second trial when he had a mishap, but hopefully it was just a one-off, and, he's obviously still learning what it's all about, but it was really good to see him do it as well as he did on Tuesday in the heat, and, he should benefit from that run, seeing the track, and, they usually improve off that first up run.
Yeah, look, he certainly was very impressive. Tell me, Justin, is there any added pressure given that he was a high-priced yearling at the yearling sales last year? Is there any added pressure given that they are a high-priced horse?
I hadn't thought of it too much until just recently, actually, the last few days probably. So maybe there will be a little bit more, but I guess I put quite a lot of pressure on myself to try and have the horses sort of right for the night anyway. So, whether it's a high price horse or not, if I think it's a decent chance in the race, then, I put plenty of pressure on myself anyway to try and have the horse right. And hopefully we do tomorrow night.
Junior's stuck by. Obviously had a couple of horses that he drove in the heats, so he's agreed to stay on board, which you'd be very happy with.
Yeah, it is good. Obviously, he drove him in all his trials, so it's good for him to want to stick with him. Yeah, we didn't have sort of any communication about it or anything, but I was really happy to see that he's going to stick with him.
Hey Justin, he's obviously landed a pretty awkward draw tomorrow night. How do you think that'll play out from inside the back row?
It is a bit of a tricky draw. I was hoping Junior would stick with him so I didn't have to worry about that. I haven't sort of looked too much into the race, but it is a bit of a trick. It's never real easy with 2-year-olds only having their second start, and he's never drawn on the back line or anything like that. But, Junior knows him well now, and he's the best at sort of getting them off, when he needs to. So whether he chooses to come off early or stay there and sort of, hope that he gets a gap later, and I'll leave that up to him. But I think the horse is versatile enough to sort of, do whatever Junior wants him to do.
Well, it certainly looks a very nice race, and as we know, they're 2-year-olds, so a lot can happen, but he's very well placed in there against a nice field. And then in the fillies race, you've got Perfect Mickey, who unfortunately didn't get an awkward draw, just got an awful one out there near the car park. I thought she went very well first up. She put in quite a few rough strides there up the straight, which is just all part of that learning process. How's she come on since qualifying, Justin?
Yeah, she seems well enough. Her work's been good enough. I've sort of made some gear changes again just to try and get her sort of pacing as good as we can at this early stage. I really think she's just a horse that needs time more than anything else. So, but obviously, we got into the final and, we thought hopefully if we get a nice draw, she gets a good run, then, she could sort of run in the money somewhere. But that draw really hurts her chances. She needed it completely upside down and to get all the breaks. But I think she'll be a nice filly later on. She just needs time. She's probably ready to go now.
Yeah, she was very promising in that heat run, wasn't she? Where she was just completely luckless. What did you make of the rest of the field? Did you think there was one that looked clearly hardest to beat to you?
In the fillies race?
Yeah, Chef's Kiss and Ma Petite Dame looked the top two there. Were you taken by either of those in the heat runs?
Yeah, well, I thought the first heat was by far the stronger heat with Bellies and Aidens. They ran really good time, sort of fought out and finished. I thought, Bellies was probably the one to beat tomorrow night with, at that park. And then sort of just got beaten by Aidens coming off its back. So I thought it was probably the horse to beat tomorrow night. I thought his heat run was really good.
And then going back to race 3 in the 3-year-old fillies, Justin, Winter Wonder makes a return to racing. Now she's got the absolute perfect draw and needs it. She's got Raynette on her outside, who's a very, very smart horse. Certainly must be a chance of running into the money there for a place.
Yeah, she's got the draw that she needs to give her a chance of earning. Obviously being sort of first up, she's not completely rock hard fit, but she's working well enough at home that, if she got the right run, then, she could sort of run in that, top 5 would be a good result for her, I think. So works out, looks like a perfect draw on paper to, just sit on Raynette. Hopefully we can sort of hang on to her back for as long as we can, and if she earns, if she runs top 3 or 4, then we'll be happy with that.
Yeah, she has shown some glimpses of some good form in a previous campaign, so it certainly wouldn't surprise to see her runner place in that. But then in race as we go to race 9. You've got another lovely draw with what looks to be a very, very promising horse in Quintessa. How's Quintessa coming along?
Yeah, she's good. She's working well. Sort of still just learning a little bit more about her. She's always wanted to sort of run down quite bad at home, and then her 2 race starts with Junior's driven her. She's sort of wanted to run up the track quite bad, and Junior thinks probably greenness more than anything, but we always had that Murphy on the near side, so we've taken that off tomorrow night, open her up, and hopefully, she'll run straighter, and we'll see a better horse too. She's a nice filly and she's working well.
So 2 starts, 2 wins for Quintessa. She looks very promising. How does she measure up against some of the horses you've had in the past?
Yeah, she's a nice filly. She's obviously, I liked her as a 2-year-old, and she had a bit of a setback, had a spell, come back in, and yeah, she does a lot of things right at home, and we just need to make sure that, she's going to be a nice racehorse too, and so far so good with her.
Now, Justin, Monday is a Pinjarra Cup day down at Pinjarra. A couple of horses going around there, Mighty Ronaldo and Tricky Mickey. how did they both come through their really good first up run last week?
Yeah, they come through the run well. I was really happy with them, and Jaws of Lincoln, he's nominated for the Cup as well, and not sure if the fields are out yet. Hopefully we get some good draws. Haven't had a huge amount of luck in the Pinjarra Cup, so it'd be a really good race that, we get some nice draws and have a good run, and hopefully one of them can, run a really good race and go close to winning. I was wrapped with all their runs last week. I thought they all went as good as they could, and a couple more strides. Mighty Ronaldo probably gets there, and I thought Tricky Mickey hit the line really well, and Jaws of Lincoln sort of fought on from the breeze really well, which is not really his if he led in a better race or sort of sat just off the speed, I think he could be really dangerous too.
Yeah, look, it certainly was a good run by Jaws of Lincoln. A couple of times he's had to do some work in his races, but he's performed very well. As you said, Mighty Ronaldo, wow, absolutely. When he gets going, he absolutely motors, and Tricky Mickey did really well to finish fourth there as well. Never Ending, how's he tracking? Where's he at, Justin?
Yeah, so he's just finished a course of treatment. He just had a course of antibiotics. We had to back off him a little bit through that period just so we could let them do their job, and he seems good. He looks fantastic, so he should be able to, we should be able to start cranking his work back up now, and then hopefully we'll see him sort of around Bunbury Cup time.
Okay, that's yes, not all that far away before we head into the Nullarbor, not that far after, and then of course the Retrovision Fremantle Cup. Sunday is APG Sales Day. Now, I know you do a lot of homework in preparation for this day. What do you think of the book? And it's going to be a long day, about 170 odd lots and 34 degrees.
Yes, I think I'll be feeling it on Monday. So I was hoping for a nice cool weekend, but yeah, it's going to be a busy day. It's always a busy weekend. We had a really good yearling parade last weekend. All the breeders done a great job and finished off at Charles's place that really sort of look after you, and it seemed like a good turnout. I've only sort of gone the last couple of years, but it looked like a good turnout. Hopefully, it's a good turnout on Sunday, and hopefully we can go home with the horses that we want.
And obviously, anybody that's interested in a share in a nice filly or a colt can get in touch with yourself. Have you been narrowing it down? What's it down to at the moment? Do you just go and have one last look at a few on the Sunday morning before the sale, before we actually get underway?
Yeah, I'll have a good look at some on Saturday. There's still some I haven't seen. I went and looked at a few more again yesterday. So there's still a few more I haven't seen, so I'll try and get through them Saturday, and then probably relook at the final shortlist on Sunday. But absolutely, anybody that's interested in looking at coming into a share, we're always looking at trying to get new people in our partnerships, and if they sort of follow our socials, then all the purchases will be updated on there, and if anybody's interested in any in particular, or they can just contact us through the Facebook page or through the website, and come in and enjoy it.
Have a bit of fun, and hopefully find a couple of winners. Oli, who's sitting across here, he's been having a bit of luck in the syndicates that he's been, so you never know, we might be able to get him into one. So it's going to be a big day out there. Looking forward to that. It's a big weekend. We've got the APG WA Sales Classics on Friday night. We then go down to Sunday. We've got the yearling sale. Monday we've got Pinjarra. So there's lots happening. Just before you go, Justin, the new ratings and handicap system, how are you finding that so far?
I haven't been nominating a huge amount of horses since being in, so I haven't had a huge opportunity to sort of make an assessment on it, but From what I've seen, I think that some of it is definitely, can be positive and can work. There's probably some, some more programming things that, could sort of tweak here and there, where there's sort of not races for horses that I've sort of got sitting in the paddock and know where to place them, which is not really what we want. I don't think there's enough sort of horses around to have horses sitting in the paddock and no race to put them in. So I think that'll be a work in progress, with the programming and hopefully that's something that, we can adjust on the go. But, everybody says that, something had to change and, I think the programming will probably be the biggest thing is to, making it work and hopefully, from what I've seen, I think there's definitely some positives to it.
Yeah, and that's good to hear, and hopefully it will be a work in progress as they just continue to refine it. As you said, the programming has a lot to do with it, so we'll see how that plays out. So, Justin, thank you for your time. Good luck on Friday night with all of your charges there at Gloucester Park. Happy buying on Sunday. Certainly hope you get the ones that you're looking for, and he's hoping you can have a little bit more luck in the Pinjarra Cup this year.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
There we go. Justin Prentice. It's going to be a very busy weekend for him. He's got one in the 3-year-old Sales Classic, one in the 2-year-old boys, one in the 2-year-old girls. Then he's got Quintessa, so he's got a really big night there Friday night. Buying all day Sunday, then off to the Trots on Monday, and I'm sure you'll be down there on Monday, Ollie.
He's one of the best preparers of juvenile horses in the country, Justin, so it's no surprise to see that the horses he's got in tomorrow are all in the market. Even his filly that's drawn gate 9, I think it's about $12 in early markets, so you can certainly tell he's able to pick a horse from the sales, and you'd be going in pretty confident if you join one of the syndicates that's available out there, buying one of Justin's horses.
And Michael did very well last year with some of the horses that he selected out from the yearling sales as well. So you'd be on pretty good terms with yourself and some of the horses you're a part of at the moment, Ollie.
He did very well at the sales. Yeah, he picked a few really good ones, and I think he'd hadn't had a lot of success before that. So he's really done well this year, and his horses are great chances in the final as well. So I hope they all run a good race and get no bad luck in running, and the best horse comes out on top.
That's all you want to see, that is for sure. Now, still got a couple of things to get through, but before we do, this segment is brought to you by Retrovision. For all the electrical stuff you love, lowest price guarantee, and RAC members save an additional 5% every day at Retrovision, and that's 5% off the best price you can get from JB Hi-Fi, Good Guys, Harvey Norman, an additional 5%. So no reason why you shouldn't be getting down to your local Retrovision store, and there's plenty of them there. On the weekend, we've spoken Monday, we've got the Pinjarra Cup. Of course, we've got the dual meeting on Friday night with the meeting there at Northern, kicking off at 10 minutes past 6 with 7 events. I love the dual meetings on a Friday night.
Oh, they're fantastic. It's just non-stop WA racing. You can't really ask for much more than that, and it's really good with those second meetings to see that some of the junior drivers are getting good opportunities down there as well and driving a few winners. I think Joey Savalco particularly, he's driven a lot of winners to start the year, and I'd say a lot of those would be at those second meetings. So that's a real bonus we're getting out of those meetings.
Yeah, I think so, and they just bounce, one race bounces off the next, and as you said, the opportunity that we're giving, other people in the industry, I think is fantastic. And then, of course, we've got Narrogin on Saturday night, first kicking off there at 5:43 p.m, 7 events. So hopefully the people going to Narrogin won't be home too late, so they can be out at the yearling sales bright and early on Saturday morning. Having a look at having the last look at their charges. So the Drivers' Challenge. So Ollie, these are the facts. Turnover on the Friday night meeting was around $3 million, up 96% on the same time last year. The Saturday night, 3.8 million, up 71%. So overall, 83% up in the same period last year. That's got to be a big tick and a huge success.
It's just an outstanding result, isn't it? And it's no real surprise. When the concept was first floated, it just sounded absolutely fantastic. And I think the way it's all played out, Racing Queensland did a fantastic job putting the event on. It all ran really smoothly. It was great coverage. They had some US media there. They had some people from Sweden, and they really had all bases covered. And they're fantastic results, the wagering, but it's certainly no surprise. I think they put on a fantastic show there, and hopefully next year it'll be bigger and better. And I think a lot of clubs around the country can really look at that, and it shows you that innovation does really make a massive difference.
And they certainly have a lot of that up in Brisbane, and they are doing very well. And some of the things they've done up there have been great. But that concept was great. And as we know with any concept, it can always evolve and improve. And whilst it was whilst it looked a brilliant night, I'm sure there's things that will just continue to evolve over time and just make it a bigger and bigger event.
I think over time it'll be worth more and more money as well, which will continue to attract the best drivers in the world. And I think Rads was saying that James McDonald, he's just a superstar over there in North America, and he might be one that they target in the future. Dexter Dunn, he was over there, and he was fantastic. Seeing him drive in person, you can just see exactly why he's been as successful as he has been. And I'm sure it was fantastic for the drivers there that were driving alongside these superstars. Some of the younger drivers, they got plenty out of that series too. So it was actually really good having a couple of younger guys. Angus Garrard ended up going on to take out the whole series, and he was brilliant, and he really deserved that. But I'm sure he would have improved a lot as a driver, having driven alongside some of those superstars of this sport. So really, on every level, it was just a fantastic series.
And our very own Gary Hall Jr. Finished second. Outstanding effort, and whilst he had a very big part to play in that, and he was brilliant as always, Junior. Tell us about your part, Ollie, because as I said, it wasn't just about being there to drink the beer and watch the races. You were heavily involved in what happened.
I did do a lot of beer drinking and watching races, but before that, we were tasked with finding the horses for Junior to drive at the draft they had on the Wednesday. Matt Leppard and I did the form on the Monday and the Tuesday. We probably spent about 6 hours doing the form and working out an order of preference. Basically, with the draft, it was the 20 races, they were already done up, the draws were done, and there were just no drivers on horses, and the draft went from 1 to 200, and you could pick any horse from those races. So it really was a tricky task, and it was a pretty stressful night there on Wednesday trying to pick those horses. But it was incredibly engaging, and I don't really know anyone else that has done something like that. I thought we came out with a really good book of drives there, the 19 drives. You have a few at the end where they're longer odds, and you'll probably just be driving to pick up a few points down the back. But we were really aiming to get horses that were going to be on the pegs, because at Albion Park it's just so hard to win off the pegs, especially on a Saturday night. So we really did target those horses that would be on the pegs, and Junior was just absolutely fantastic. I said to him, I think you drove 18 out of 19 absolute peaches. And the one that he didn't drive so well, he probably just got a bit unlucky, and in different circumstances maybe it would have worked out. But I thought he was just fantastic, and without his driving there, we certainly wouldn't have come second. So, we're really lucky to pick him up, and I think heading in we were incredibly confident that we'd be really, really competitive in the series with him driving for us, even against the best in the world, and to come out with second, we were over the moon.
So you should have been. So judging by the sound in your voice, you will definitely be heading back again next year?
Absolutely, yeah. We'll be straight back there, and I've read a few things that the top three will be back next year, so we're already looking forward to it, and we'll certainly be going over there to take out first prize next year, not just second.
Yeah, no, it was just it just looked a really good event, and it looked like there was a pretty good crowd on course.
Oh, it was good. I think it could have been slightly better, the on course crowd. I think with the tents they had there for the slot holders, they were absolutely packed and there was people walking around. But I certainly think they could have got maybe a better crowd there. But that'll come in time. And you know, I think there were quite a few people inside. You just couldn't see a lot of people in the grandstand. But I'm sure in time that'll improve. And there were some of the biggest harness racing personalities in the world that travelled up there without even having any investment in it. So it was fantastic to see, and it was certainly the place to be there on Friday and Saturday night.
Certainly looked it, and like I said, I'm sure it's just going to continue to get bigger and bigger. But what we really need to do is to get on try finding winners through our man Scott Bomber Hill. So before we go to the break, let's head back to listen to Just Rollin' Around.
Perfect feeling at the top of the lane, leads the way, but here's the favourite, Just Rolling Around, looming large on the outside for Junior. Garrard straightens with the lead, Perfect feeling just in front, but Just Rolling Around draws level. Just Rolling Around starting to draw off. Junior's home again. There's life for Junior. Just Rolling Around beat Perfect feeling. Look, at always be a talk flashing.
There's always a lot more in store for you at Retrovision, like Retrovision's lowest price guarantee. If you find a lower price on a same-stocked item, we'll beat it. There's our 60-day price promise, where we'll refund you 120% of the difference if you find a lower advertised price on any purchase. Plus, RAC members save an extra 5% every day of the year. After 60 years, a lot has changed, but there's still a lot more in store at Retrovision.
You are listening to Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley.
Jaws of Lincoln, Waterloo the inside, Mighty Ronaldo getting home fast, Blitzen buys underneath it, then Tricky Mickey around the turn, Steno's nicely clear from Jaws of Lincoln, Mighty Ronaldo is rushing down the outside, but Steno's in front, down the outside, Mighty Ronaldo, Jaws of Lincoln, Steno in front, Mighty Ronaldo trying very hard, Steno the leader, from Mighty Ronaldo lunging, Steno clinging on, and Steno has won from Mighty Ronaldo, Jaws of Lincoln, photo for fourth, maybe.
Just another very good win to Steno, going along beautifully for the Jocelyn Young stable, and Jocelyn herself is going along very well, training and driving as well, Ollie.
She certainly is, and Steno, she just barely ever gets beaten when she gets out in front. She's a fantastic front runner, and as you said, Jocelyn is training extremely well and driving well too. She was able to score a good win on Hampton Banner the other day, which she doesn't train, so she's going really well, Jocelyn.
Yeah, no, certainly is, and Steno managed to hold on pretty handy sort of horse, beat a pretty handy sort of horse in Mighty Ronaldo, so it was a good win in the Group 3 Lord Mayor's Cup it was, at Gloucester Park last Friday night. Now, talking about Friday nights, tomorrow night is Friday night, and our resident tipster in Scott Bomber Hill is here to join us to see what we can find at Gloucester Park. Good evening, Bomber.
G'day, Morts and Ollie, how you going?
Yeah, we're going really well. How's things up there with you, Bomber? Good?
Yeah, the cyclone's well and truly passed, and the wet season's back with a vengeance. So, yeah, nice and warm and sweaty, but nothing sitting beside the pool can't sort out, Morts.
Oh, yeah, it's very, very tough up there, as long as you've still got a roof on the house, Bomber. That's the most important thing. Now, tomorrow night, we've got a great card of racing at Gloucester Park. With the APG WA Sales Classic for the 2 and 3-year-olds, and we always love this time of year when we get to see the youngsters step out. Looks like being a great night of racing, and we're going to kick off tomorrow night in race number 3, Bomber, which is the APG 3-year-old fillies Sales Classic Final. And we've got the markets up there with Tab Touch, which is absolutely brilliant. So for all those people wanting to get on early, the markets are up. Looking at the field, number 1, Winter Wonder for Madison Brown and Justin Prentice at $21. 2, Rainette, very short price there, with my man Trent Wheeler aboard, $1.38. Number 3, Stella Delaziosa for Dylan Edgerton Green at $71. Number 4, Gelosimo Amal, $71. 5, Highview Heidi for Chris Voke at $20. Number 6, Delulu, who stuck on really well last week, at $4.20 for Denny Roberts. Number 7, Swifty with a Stuart McDonald aboard, $51. 8 Better Get On Pip, Chris Lewis for Ryan Bell. 9 Ruby Lou, Shannon Savelko, $126. 10 Wicked Lover, Kyle Symington on board for $26. 11 Jack's Ideal from the very powerful Michael Young stable at $9.50. And last start winner, It's Mar Time for Aidan DeCampo, number 12 at $9. What do you think in this one, Bomber?
Yeah, well, I think Rainette's the natural leader and winner as a result. She's really like the way she's come back and she's going about it nicely. But I'm going to back one for the place, which probably had no hope at all if it had drawn anywhere else. But Winter Wonder comes up with a pole mark and just looks to get a lovely running behind Rainette, which I think will get a nice easy lead. This filly has really good form around the balance of some of these other fillies in this field in the last few campaigns whilst doing things wrong. And she's obviously got ability, and when she gets it right, she's never far away. So I think from in behind the leader at $21 and around about $2.50 the place, I think she's a nice little place bet.
She certainly does look like she's going to get a really nice run there in behind the speed. Winter Wonder, and she's always shown above average ability, so certainly looks like she'll get her chance there. The next race you were keen to play into was...
Hang on, Ollie, we just need to get Bomber's unit bet in that one. So how many units for race 3, number 1, Winter Wonder, for Justin Prentice and Madison Brown?
Yeah, we'll go 2 units more. So I just think it maps beautifully. There's a few that are going to have to do a bit of work, and she's the one that just sits in behind the leader, and hopefully she can just hang on to the helmet.
So that's 2 units for the place, Bomber?
That's right.
Beautiful.
The next one we're keen to have a look at was race 5. We've got a market for this one as well up at Tab Touch, which is really good. Number 1, we've got Maternal Dreams. Number 2, we've got Wake Up Jeff at $26, both at $26, those first 2. We've got number 3, Butter Me Up, which was fantastic last start at $3.90. We've got number 4, Cease to React at $3.10. Fear the Storm, which was ultra impressive last start at $3.90. We've got number 6, Night Sniper at $71. Number 7, Better Behave at $10 for Aidan DeCampo. We've got number 8, Last King of Capo, $201.
That's Capel, yeah, that's where Aidan comes from. Sorry.
Last King of Capel. We've got number 9, Wheels of Fortune, another one for Aidan DeCampo. He's got a really good lineup in this race. That one's $41, and it was good in the heat as well and should be better for the run there, I thought. And number 10, Ideal Beach at $3, the current favourite there. 11, Shoe Betcha is the emergency, and it is $201. What were you keen to do in this race, Bomber?
Yeah, I'm pretty keen on Ideal Beach. He could barely have been more impressive on debut, and we know these Prentice juveniles are never at their top at debut and just continue to get better. So I think there looks to be okay speed towards the middle of the line here, which should ensure there's not too many from out wide coming across. And I think he'll land 1-2 or 1-3, and if he produces anything near that debut performance, which I expect he will, and probably better, he's going to take all sorts of holding out. He just he really passed that eye test on debut, and I just expect him to continue to get better.
Certainly going to be a very interesting race, Bomber. Very wide open. Poor old Aidan's got, he drew barrier 7, 8 and 9 with the 3 that he had, so he didn't get any favours from the people doing the draw. So race 5, horse number 10, Ideal Beach, for Justin Prentice and Gary Hall Jr. What's our staking plan there, Bomber?
Yeah, another 2-unit bet. I thought he might have been a touch for them in the draw. Obviously, second line draw, but he's the lone runner there, so I think that helps him out enormously. But I think he might start just a touch shorter. I thought he was probably at least a 220, 240 sort of mark.
Okay, there we go. That's our second selection, and we'll go to a break shortly, and we'll come back and we'll find out what Bomber's next 2 bets are. But before we go to the break, this segment is brought to you by Steel Blue Boots, Australia's leading supplier of work boots. Whatever your trade, we've got your boots. Built for comfort, made for work, they are a mark of true skill. Steel Blue boots. And, of course, Ross Fitzgerald from Steel Blue is a very good supporter of not only the station but harness racing in WA, and now a committee member at Gloucester Park. So doing his bit. As we go to the break, let's go back to a great win and a great drive by Aidan De Campo aboard It's Maritime at Gloucester Park last Friday night.
He has not given up the chase on the outside. It's Maritime. He hasn't really gone for it yet, though. Leads by 1.5 metres to Delulu, who's trying very hard. They're well clear of the rest of the field. Ruby Lou and Wicked Lover better get on Pip. In front, It's Maritime. On the outside, Delulu's coming, but It's Maritime clinging on from Delulu. And then came Wicked Lover, and It's Maritime goes all the way to win well by 2.5 metres. Second, Delulu. 20 metres, Wicked Lover, and 6 metres, Ruby.
New Mazda.
Yep, I love it. We got it from Bayswater Mazda.
I keep hearing great things about them.
They're fantastic to deal with. Great people, great coffee too.
At Bayswater Mazda, you'll always be well looked after. Visit the team today and find the best drive-away deals on new Mazdas and pre-owned vehicles. Driving is better with Bayswater Mazda.
So's the coffee.
Go and see Bayswater Mazda at the corner of Guildford and Garrett Road, Bayswater. DL 25174.
You are listening to Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley.
The third quarter, and Just Call Me Mickey has got the lead. Then you came along the inside. Christopher Dance struggling a bit on the outside, and Wave Rider gets to the outside now as they turn into the straight. Just Call Me Mickey in front from Then You Came Along. Wave Rider is down the outside, and then Christopher Dance, but Just Call Me Mickey in front of Then You Came Along, and Wave Rider coming late, but Just Call Me Mickey races home to win well. Second, Wave Rider in front of...
Yes, there we are. Just Call Me Mickey, Denny Roberts for Greg and Sky Bond. Beat in a very nice field and was very, very handy first up to score a great win.
Very dominant win, wasn't it? It just never looked like losing there out in front, and Denny certainly pulled the right rein as she usually does there, picking that horse over Christopher Dance, which is another very, very promising horse in the Bond stable, and Just Call Me Mickey was able to easily beat the stablemate there, and Wave Rider has been terrific in recent times as well, in behind in second. So looks like that'll be a really good form race, that one, I'd say.
Yeah, no, it was a great effort, very good effort first up. Now this segment is brought to us by Loans 123. Car loans, personal loans, travel loans, commercial loans. Who do you see? The great man, the nude nut, Steve Sell. Loans 123, still doing things the banks can't. And if you want to get the great man, Steve Sell, it's an easy number to remember. Even Braid could remember this. 1-800. Thank you very much. 100-100. So get in and talk to the great man, and hopefully we won't require Stevie on Friday night, because our guest tipster is going to look at it, the next couple of events for us, and we are going to race number 6 at Gloucester Park, which is the APG 2-year-old fillies sales classic, full field of 10 with 2 emergencies. And looking at the field, and we had the odds up, which is absolutely fantastic, Ollie, that we're getting these early prices, so all the listeners can launch in as soon as Bomber gives his tips. So in this race we have number 1, Chef's Kiss for Chris Voke and Gemma Hayman at $4.40. 2, Elray's Girl, 71. 3, Highview Rosie at 26. Number 4, Ma Petite Dame at $1.45. Be very, very hard to beat, I would think. 5, Livianne for Dylan Edgerton Green at 16. 6, Lady Crunch Time for Denny Roberts and Ryan Ballett, $41. Number 7, Leonarca for Stewie McDonald at $201. Number 8, Wishing Bell for Aidan De Campo at $4.80. 9, Perfect Mickey for Gary Hall Jr. and tonight's guest, Justin Prentice at $12. And number 10, Aiello for Chris Lewis at $151. What are your thoughts here, Bomber?
Yeah, really good field, but another place bet more. I was with Perfect Mickey. I thought her debut was as good as anything else in the race, and admittedly, that race was ran in pedestrian time compared to the other heat, but I think that was probably more to her detriment, and she'll be better following good speed, and she should get that in a race like this. Junior's most likely just got to take his medicine off the arm and go back, and she was just a little bit at sea when she was looking for racing room around the last corner and into the straight there last time. But with the race experience and hopefully good speed up front, I think she can be really strong late and running to a place at least. I wouldn't be surprised if she won.
And the favourite, Ma Petite Dame, would be hard to beat?
Definitely the one to beat, no question. I've actually got it on top, but I just thought at the value, Perfect Mickey, the place was probably the bet in the race.
Very nice. And how many units Perfect Mickey in race number 6, horse number 9 for Justin Prentice and Gary Hall Jr.?
The 2 units. I think it's actually the draw that enables us to get this place price. And like I said, I was pretty impressed with her on debut. She didn't know what it was all about. She'll continue to get better, but this race could set up nicely for her.
Certainly looks like it'll be a good race, that one. We head to the last race for your last selection there. It looks a really interesting race, this one, with a few fillies a few mares and fillies that are going well. Champagne Everyone is number 1 at $1.65. Number 2, Ultra Allure at $3.10. Number 3, Hunt the Magic at $9. Number 4, Sport at $71. Number 5, Unlucky at $26. Number 6, Jackie Daniels at $26. Number 7, Rock Rosie Rock, which has been going particularly well recently, at $8.50. Number 8, Minor Catastrophe at $71. Chambray at number 9 at $26. And Captain's Beach Babe, number 10 at $14 there. How are we going to play this one, Bomber?
Yeah, really confident this one, Ollie. She's short at $1.65. Well, I mean, it looks short. I actually think she's great value at $1.65. I've got a much shorter Champagne Everyone. She's got an outstanding record in front, and that's where she'll be here. Last time she led here a month ago, she blew them away at a similar sort of field, running 57.2 on the way home. And she's an 8-time winner as pilot. And, I think Dylan will just rate her perfectly in front, and impossible to see her getting around. I'm really keen to snap up the $1.65.
You do sound very keen there, Bomber. I'm tipping this is going to be at least 5 units.
You've nailed it, Morts. It's a 5-unit bet to finish. I was really keen to see what price she came up, and I'm more than happy with $1.65. I think she just wins. So
for our listeners, you think she may shorten even still, Bomber? Should we jump on now?
Be amazed if she doesn't, Morts. If she doesn't start closer to $1.30, I'd be very, very surprised. I find it impossible mathematically to see how they beat her.
Oh, there we go. That's going to be a great night, and we love going home winners in the last race, Bomber. That's for sure. Big 5-unit bet there. Race 10, number 1, Champagne Everyone, Dylan Edgerton Green. Big 5-unit bet, Bomber. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you don't put the mocker on any horses you picked on Friday night, or it could be big trouble.
Well, if I have a good night, you're going to have an even better one, Morts, no doubt about that. But, I don't often land on too many with your name in the ownership there, and come up with 3 on a big night tomorrow night. So, hopefully you have a great night.
Certainly will. There we go. Scott Bomber Hill giving us a very good insight into the 4 races. Ollie, we're going to go to a break, and as we go to a break, we're going to listen to Penny Black, who scored a great win last Friday night at Gloucester Park.
And then came Paul Edward around the turn. They run, though. 28.7 the second quarter. It's Penny Black in front, leading the way by 3 metres to Cordero. On the inside, Montana Glory, Rock and Roll Artist, Nullarbor, Marbaho, Mildom at Chevron. Doing it well, though, Penny Black is nicely out in front. Rock and Roll Artist ran into second place. A wall of them lining up for third, but Penny Black wins it well. From Rock and Roll Artist...
Hi, I'm Steve Sell from Loans 123. We are car finance specialists. We can help you find the loan you're looking for, your new car, and help find a home for your old one. If you want a new or used car but feel uncomfortable visiting car yards on your own, we can help and often save you money. For a stress-free way of buying and financing your next car, who do you see? Steve Sell at loans123.com.au or call 1800 100 100.
Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, racing and sport.
Fly the inside, Magnificent Storm the outside. Into the straight they come. Who's going to get the upper hand? Magnificent Storms takes the lead now by about a neck. On the inside is Wonderful to Fly. Magnificent Storm goes to the lead, starts to draw away from Wonderful to Fly. Driven out to the line to Magnificent Storm. He is clear by about a length, and Magnificent Storm's back in town. Home in 28.7. Second, Wonderful to Fly. Long gap back in the field there too.
Don't you love to hear that, Ollie? Magnificent Storm back in town. What a great boost this will be for WA Harness Racing, having Magnificent Storm back racing.
Fantastic to see him back. It was a real shame to see him go out the way he did. He was injured at the peak of his powers there. He really looked like he was going to be a force in some of the feature races, and for a while there it sounded like he might not get back to the races. So to see him back there at the trials is fantastic, and I'm sure everyone in WA racing is just looking forward to seeing him get back to the races and hopefully winning a race very soon.
Yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed. As you say, it was a very serious injury that Magnificent Storm had, and they've done a wonderful job in allowing this horse to recoup and just take their time and bring him back. And you're listening to the race call there as a horse behind him by the name of Wonderful to Fly, who's pretty handy to think that Magnificent Storm and the comeback trial's able to come along and get a win on the board. So can't wait to see him go around at Gloucester Park, and who knows, maybe another crack at the Nullarbor.
Would be fantastic to see him in the Nullarbor and be really competitive there, I'm sure, at his best. It's as an owner of horses, whether you've got your low-grade horse that gets injured, or you've got a superstar that's racing in Nullarbors and Pacing Cups and Fremantle Cups, you really, really care about these horses, and you want to see them fit and healthy, and firstly fit and healthy, and then you want to see them race well after that. So I'm sure the owners and the trainer and the driver, Aidan DeCampo, I'm sure they're all over the moon to see him back at the trials.
Yeah, certainly are. He is a fan favourite, there's no doubt about that, and a lot of people come along just to watch him, so looking forward to seeing him go around in some of the good racing coming up. Now, this segment, Ollie, is brought to us by Bayswater Mazda, and driving is better with Bayswater Mazda at the corner of Garrett Road and Guildford Road in Bayswater. So get down there and see the team at Bayswater Mazda. They've got a great range of new and used cars, a great service, and they still make the best coffee in town. So make sure you get on down there and see them. Now, Ollie, one thing I did forget to do, was very remiss of me, was Bomber had a multi for us. So just going to read it out for our listeners, which is race number 1, and this is a place multi. Race number 1, horse 11, Arian Rock, gets a good trail and can be strong late. Race 2, number 3, the Little Master. Love the way he is going and looks to get a good trip. Race 7, number 10, Travel Band, gets a great trail and impossible to see missing a place. And race 9, number 4, Crunchy, can't see a winning but hard to see missing a hole. So there is a place multi from Scott Bomber Hill for Friday night. So best of luck with that.
Bray was just telling us his multi-hard luck story, so hopefully we don't suffer the same fate here, and we can get all legs home and hopefully fill the punters' pockets ready for a big weekend of racing.
Yes, and I just thought that Bray had something in his eye, but no, it's actually tears. I think they are actually tears. Nothing worse than having a multi, getting everything right except for one leg, and that's because you put the wrong one on. Yep. So, Ollie, whereabouts we're going to go now? Just before we do, Saturday night, there's some great racing. We've got the Cordina Sprint, where we're going to see a Swayze up against Captain Ravishing now in the Jason Grimson yard. And, of course, It's Merlin has drawn the one, promises to be a cracking race. And then the Cordina Farm Sprint with Catch a Wave, Vardy Express, Captain's Knock, Don Hugo, promises to be another ripping race as well. So a couple of really good races over there on Saturday night.
There certainly is, isn't there? There's going to be action-packed at Menangle on Saturday night. Those horses in the Cordina Sprint are obviously all vying to take on the champion Leap to Fame, who was able to score the other day and break the track record by nearly 1.5 seconds there at Newcastle. And he worked so hard, you thought, oh, he's got to get tired. He doesn't, but he just never does. He powered to the line, and he was ultra impressive again. I think, at his best, with even luck in running, you'd think he'd go very, very close in that Miracle Mile. But there's certainly some good horses here vying to take him on. As you mentioned, it's Merlin, who is Merlin in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And Don't Stop Dreaming has been fantastic. It's his last few races, second to Leap to Fame. So he's certainly got to be some hope of getting at least close to the champion. I think Swayze would be a horse you'd probably risk as a punter over the mile. I think Jason Grimson for a number of months said that the Miracle Mile wasn't their target. They've obviously got some big targets with the big bonus in the country, but got knocked off there in the last one of those, and now we see him vying for a position in that Miracle Mile. So it's really interesting. And another horse that's certainly worth noting is Max Delight, the old boy. He's just going just about career best. He was terrific 2 starts ago in sub 150. It was 148.8, which is just, for an older horse, it's just fantastic to see him going so well. And it shows the how hardy the breed of standardbreds are, really.
Certainly are. So, yeah, some great racing. And, of course, we've got the Chariots of Fire on Saturday night as well. So a big night of harness racing. And talking about big nights of harness racing, see Jackpot Joe won the Denmark Cup for Michael Caligari, and AJ Markham was a nice win.
He's a tough horse, isn't he, Jackpot Joe? He's just a really honest horse, and he's never too far away wherever he is in the run. So I think he was building a really good body of form there, and he certainly deserved that win he's got there on the weekend.
Yeah, very good for both Michael Caligari and AJ Markham. And, of course, the Williams Cup went to Chillon for the very powerful Michael Young stable and Emily Savelko.
One of my favourite horses, Chillon. We got him pretty cheap from Victoria, and we've just been so happy with how he's gone. I think he might have scored about 10 wins in WA, and we've just gotten so much fun and enjoyment out of owning him. It's not always the champions, the superstars that give you enjoyment in racing. You can win a Williams Cup, and it's as good as winning a Group 1. So anyone that's not an owner, I'd certainly recommend them getting involved, because it's just fantastic owning horses in harness racing.
It certainly is, and like you say, it doesn't matter where you win them. It's always just nice to win them. Another good win during the week down at Bunbury. First up for Gemma Hayman was Aretha. Not sure if you saw that one. Nice first up winner there for the Gemma Hayman stable. So lots happening in the country harness racing. But importantly now, we're going to go to... You've got 2 for us at Northam on Friday night, 2 at Narrogin on Saturday night, and a couple from your old favourite stomping ground. So why do you like betting so much in Albion Park? You just been used to doing the form there, or like the track?
I started doing form on Albion Park just after having a bit of luck early on. I think, beginner's luck, you land a few winners and you think, it's a whole lot easier there. Over the years after that, I discovered it certainly wasn't easier, and it's hard to sort of do form and make money anywhere. But no, I do love the track at Albion Park and Redcliffe and Marburg there in Queensland. So just having done it for years and years and being really familiar with it, I've just I've grown to really love it. And I always enjoy the racing over there and going over there, and it's a fantastic track there at Albion Park, just like Gloucester Park. It is in the inner city, so it's a fantastic location, and we're really, really lucky to still have a track where it is now. Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, that's good. Well, let's see. So we're about to going to take us to at Northam, race number 3 will kick things off, which is at 7:13 p.m. The local legend Esther Bliss Mobile Pace, and I'm keen to be with one in this race that's drawn favourably in Wandering Girl. I think she's a really capable horse and showed that last start with a really good run, I thought, from a poor draw. She was drawn gate 7 there, and she got back in the run, and she was able to run on strongly behind Icy Cold, who's been really good recently, and Rosie Rock, who's going around on Friday at about $8 as well, so at Gloucester Park. So I think that is quite a good form race there for Wandering Girl, and she seems to go really well as out in front. Her last run leading, she was able to score there, so I certainly think if she's able to lead, she'll run a race for us out in front, and she's got the dangers probably from poorer draws there.
So that's race 3, number 1, Wandering Girl for Liam Elliott and Aldo Cordapasi. Where else at Northam on Friday night, Ollie?
The next one I've got at Northam is in race 7, 9:05 in the Rosslyn Quinn Mobile Pace. I was keen to be with Path of Gold in this race. Just a horse that loves to be sat up and run home in his races. He's a really honest horse, and when things do set up favourably for him, he's generally right in the finish there. And I certainly think this looks another really good opportunity for him to run over the top. I think there could be a bit of speed on in the early stages, and if that's the case, he might be following Dr. Steve, who's another horse that's probably likely to be pretty hard to beat, and I think he can get the last shot at them and hopefully come over the top there, Path of Gold, with Donald Harper on board for Craig Hynam.
Been very consistent of late, Path of Gold.
Certainly, without breaking through for a win, so hopefully he can, on Friday night there.
Hopefully Friday night he can. So that is Northam race 7. Number 10, Path of Gold for Donald Harper and Craig Hynam. Now, Saturday night we venture down to Narrogin. Which couple are you looking at there, Ollie?
The first one I was keen to play into is race 5 at 7:57 p.m, the Swan Draft Cup, 15th of March Mobile Pace. Was keen to be with At the Pointy End in this race, who's drawn favourably in gate 1 and was able to lead 2 starts ago, and that proved all the difference when she scored there in decent time at Gloucester Park for a race of this nature anyway. I think she'll have all the dangers off the pegs and in hopefully less favourable positions than her. There's certainly some horses in this race which are going well. Having Fun has been really good recently, and Push Button Rock is another horse I've been quite taken by in recent times. So I think At the Pointy End can lead there and should be really hard to beat in that race.
It's a nice field. Good field of starters there. So number 1 in race 5 At the Pointy End, for the Dream Team. Denny Roberts for Greg and Skybond, doing a wonderful job as always. So that's in race 5 at Narrogin. Which one next at Narrogin, Ollie?
We're going to jump back a few races here to race 3 at 6:49. The Tab Touch Past the Post Payouts Autumn Series 4-year-old plus 0-2 wins Heat 1 this race. A horse that's been going incredibly well recently, and last start was well beaten, but I certainly don't think there's any huge knock there. And Kinsabi, I think he's really turned a corner this time in and put in some terrific efforts there, and he's actually been racing at the Pointy End in recent starts and came off second best there 2 starts ago, but he was working outside the leader, and I thought he battled on really well there just to be beaten a very small margin in the end, and he's a tough horse, so I think he can be driven around to the breeze and sit outside them. And for Donald Harper there again, I think he can be really hard to beat in that race. He certainly looks to have the best form on his side, so I think he'll be very hard to beat however it plays out.
Race 3, number 9, Kinsabi, gone stuck with Donald Harper again in the third race there at Narrogin on Saturday night. So also on Saturday night, Ollie, we have Albion Park. Which races are we going to look at there?
The first race we'll look at is race 2 at 6:14 p.m. Queensland time. Angus the Kid Garrard, Ultimate Drivers Champion qualifying pace. He certainly deserved that win too. In this race, Vinsanity was a horse that went around in the Ultimate Drivers Series, and he was really good there. He ran second to a horse that's actually in this race in Risk Taker. That was over the 2100 journey, so they step back to the mile here. Vinsanity's been a horse that's really impressed in his couple of runs so far in Queensland. That first run, he was able to come from the back at Redcliffe and got home in roughly 55 seconds for the last half, which horses just don't do around that tight circuit at Redcliffe. It was just extremely impressive there. Then last start, he worked really hard to get around to the front end there with Nathan Dawson on board. And in the end, Risk Taker had just had the really soft run. He got straight onto the pegs and he was able to zip past him up the sprint lane. I think this time, Vinsanity has terrific gate speed. He'll land straight on the front end there, and I think he can be too hard to beat there for Risk Taker off his back, who certainly looks the danger, but over the mile, I expect Vinsanity to have the better of him.
Race 2, and number 2, Vinsanity at Albion Park for Nathan Dawson and for Donnie Smith. Whereabouts are we going to now at Albion Park? Race number?
The last one we've got is race number 5 at 7:49 Queensland time, racingandsports.com, divided open pace. In this race, there's a horse here that was going to be aimed up at the Miracle Mile at one stage in Duke of Scotland. He's a really promising horse. He's actually the track record holder at Albion Park over the mile at the moment, and he trailed up really sharply recently in 150.1. They're home 26.5 seconds, so he certainly looks primed and ready to go first up, and despite the wide draw, I think he can just keep working over, and he could potentially go sub 150 there again over the mile. It's certainly a strong enough race, but I think he clearly brings in the best form to that, and I think anything better than about even money looks good enough for me.
Certainly got good form at the track, that is for sure. Duke of Scotland. Race number 5, horse number 6 there at Albion Park, which hopefully will round out what's going to be a good Friday and Saturday and set us up for Monday down at Pinjarra. Now, not sure whether the field has come out yet for the Pinjarra Cup, but it should be out any minute, and it actually has, so we can have a quick look at the Pinjarra Cup, which is on Monday. And it's the feature of the year, which is no surprise, $50,000 over the 2,692 metres. And looking at the draw, we have in number 1, we have Jaws of Lincoln, Gary Hall Jr. aboard. 2, Sango Real for Christopher Voke. 3, Hampton Banner for Jocelyn Young. 4, Minstrel from Denny Roberts. 5, Magnificent Stuart McDonald. 6, Franco Ecuador Mitchell Miller. Number 7, Otis Madison Brown. Then on the back line, number 8, Tricky Mickey Trent Wheeler. 9, Swing Band Kyle Symington. Number 10, Tenzing Bromack for Stewie McDonald, who's engaged for a couple there. 11, Mighty Ronaldo Justin Prentice. Number 12, Too Fast, Too Serious, Aiden DeCampo. And the emergencies are Galactic Star and Cordero. That looks a pretty even event there, Ollie.
It certainly does. Justin Prentice looks to have a good hand again there with Jaws of Lincoln and drawn to potentially lead. He's got very good gate speed, so even with Hampton Banner in the race, it's hard to see Jaws of Lincoln cross for speed. And Tricky Mickey looks to be following through on his back. Minstrel first up is a really interesting runner. He was obviously fantastic in that Interdominion series. He was very game in defeat and did a stack of work there, but certainly a query on where he's at first up. But knowing the Bond team, I'm sure he'll be thereabouts and really hard to beat in that race.
Yeah, it's Hampton Banner, who's been in incredible form of late. That's a really good even field. Obviously, Minstrel is, when you talk about resume, has got the resume of all the horses, but there's some really, really well credentialed horses there. Mighty Ronaldo, your Swing Band. It's a great field. So that's on this Monday down at Pinjarra, race number 6 at 4:17 p.m. So that's going to cap off what's going to be a very big weekend, Ollie.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. It looks like some fantastic racing tomorrow night with the sales finals. There's some really big money on offer, and looks like we've got some really smart horses going around, which could potentially give their owners a really quick return for their money in those races, it's fantastic. You get to February and if you're able to win one of those races, you probably get most of the sale price back, or at least a good portion of it. So really exciting for owners of those horses that are going around tomorrow, and I hope they all get lucky in running and every chance to win those races.
Yeah, and then, of course, like we said, we're down at the sales on Sunday, finish off Pinjarra on Monday. Bray, nothing on the podcast? What? Big week coming, okay. We look forward to that. We'll listen intently during the week. Oli, thank you very much for coming off the bench. Radley, as I said, pulled up lame, so at short notice you came off the bench. Much appreciated. Hopefully between yourself and Bomber, we were able to find plenty of winners for all the listeners. To Bray, thank you for your efforts over there. And, thanks to everybody for listening. Have a great weekend and hope you find plenty of winners.
Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.